name is Lauren Briding, and I'm a clean living consultant and the founder of Detox Me Tuesday. And I'm so excited to talk all things baby for you new moms out there with Molly Pross of Bump Bestie.
Hi.
So Molly, will you tell us a little bit about you and your business?
I started Bump Bestie about a year ago to help expecting families navigate the crazy world of all things baby. When I work with families and clients, I focus on three main areas, and that's education, mindful product curation, and personalized resources. Helping parents, especially with the busy lifestyles that we all lead, really hone in on what they need to prepare their lives and home for baby.
So you're a goldmine of all of the information to prep for baby.
Right.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you.
So we'll just dive right in and we'll start with the registry. Like, what is the normal amount of things to register for? How do you even begin? Can you give us some tips on how to start curating a baby registry?
But on average, I put between 120 to 150 products on someone's registry. So that's a lot of stuff. And if you don't know where to start or you're just learning, it can take a really, really long time to build. You need to think about tackling the bigger items first, and then kind of figuring out all of the more little things that you need, like creams and things like that. But the bigger pieces, nursery furniture, stroller, car seats, those kinds of things.
The big things you want to check off.
Exactly, because that requires, if you are doing it on your own, Googling, which we all know is like, this crazy rabbit hole, reading reviews, talking to your friends, and then with all of that information, figuring out what's best for you. And that's, again, what I help parents with, is just things to consider based on your own lifestyle, which is going to be unique.
Right.
And then figuring out what works to support that.
Okay. I know for me, I felt like I started it really early, but I was so glad I started when I did, because I started and I was like, okay, 2 things on there. I got to take a break.
Right.
It's so much to look up and so much to do, but I love that, to start with the bigger things and kind of check those off. So the other question I personally had when putting together my registry was when it comes to those smaller things like bottles, which I know we'll get into a little bit later specifically, how many of each thing? Like, one question I had was, how many crib sheets should I get? How many bottle things should I get to try in the system? So maybe let's start with crib sheets and like blankets and things for in the nursery. What do you suggest there?
So taking a step back, what people or what parents are putting together is what we call the newborn layette.
Oh.
Have you heard of that term?
Where you leave and you get the first year of all the clothes, right?
Well, it's really like the first few months.
Right.
And, your newborn layette. And so just making sure that you have everything you need for those first few months. So that's your footed pajamas, that's your onesies, that's your kimono style tops, which is the crossover, which I prefer. It's much easier to put on a newborn than something over the head, which I feel like whenever you do that, it's like they're being reborn, and it's a very traumatic experience. And so in terms of blankets and things like that, there's no real limit, but you only really, babies, first of all, newborns, they're not sleeping with blankets.
Right.
So unless they're under supervision, there's a lot of safe sleep practices. You never want to leave a baby unattended with a blanket. So, whether that's just tucking in a muslin swaddle or a light blanket around the car seat, depends on what time of year also. A couple, but it's the type of thing, same with clothes that we had talked about. You don't want to put a lot of those things on your registry, because those are things that a lot of people are going to buy for you anyway.
Right, that's a good point. I've heard that from a few people.
Yeah,
it's like, you're going to get that, so just what you actually need.
Exactly. So if there's a blanket that you absolutely adore, put it on there.
Right.
But if not, if you're just kind of like, let's see what I get and then I'll fill in the holes after, then that's one approach.
Gotcha.
In terms of bottles, babies are going to have their preference right out of the womb. Whether that's the shape of the nipple, whether that's the flow of the milk, it's going to be different. So my son actually never took a bottle. We tried every bottle. We bought 1 or 2 of every type. My husband, same time of day, same location, we would try and do it, and he just wasn't having it. He actually took a transitional sippy
Interesting.
cup. Yeah, so we skipped the bottle phase. What I love is Babylist, if you use that as your registry.
Mine's on there, yeah.
They have a bottle box. They're super smart. They basically like collected all the data that everyone on their site is shopping for, so they know what the most popular products are. And so they've actually like curated 5 of their best-selling bottles, one of each. And it's a great thing to throw on your registry because then you have, one of each, and you can try each one out and see what works for you.
Yeah. If there's one thing people have told me about different baby gear things is they're like, there's no one size fits all for anything. So when in doubt, try a few, and then you'll figure out what your baby likes or prefers.
Totally.
So that's true for bottles as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I always say it's like one person's don't bother is another person's must have.
Right. I love
that. You never know. You have, of course, your girlfriend saying, "Oh my God, my kid loved this," and you're like, "Oh my God, I have to get it."
Right.
And you get it, and
you
it
never
doesn't
use
work.
it. Yeah.
Or they don't like it. So.
Any advice on the number of crib sheets?
Oh, so always have like an extra set. Okay. So two is ideal. The
just a red
yeah, exactly. Same with, people forget they'll put on their bassinet or they'll get a travel crib like a play yard.
Right.
Throw 2 sheets on
for
those on as well. So don't forget that those need sheets.
Right. Everything needs sheets.
Yeah.
Everything has so many parts. Are there any other last registry tips that you have just at all?
I think don't forget to put a couple things on there for mom.
Good. I love that.
Yes. There's so much focus on the baby and not a lot on mom's recovery in that postpartum period. Right. The first 40 days is like really critical.
Right.
Where your body is adjusting and you are in a healing.
Have you read that book called The First
I haven't, but it's
considering it.
It's
like the 3rd time in a week.
Yes. So maybe on audio.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, for example, when I do work with clients, I have a whole reading list of like helpful books and media and things for.
Because that's another thing where you're like, where do I even start with all the books? Because there's so many books, and that's the first thing I'm like. And then people send you books, and you're like, what? Now I feel like I have to read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into strollers. This is a big gear topic that obviously probably one of the first things you want to start researching on the registry. Yeah. What is your advice for figuring out the best stroller?
Yeah, the stroller is always the exciting, big thing. It's like it's like the Cadillac of all the stuff that you're gonna get, And so there's all different kinds of strollers. So for example, not to like blow your mind, but there's like 6 different main types of strollers. There's a stroller frame, which is literally just the frame. It doesn't come with a seat, and that's something that you click your infant car seat. Right. Very budget friendly. And this is a great option for someone who maybe can't decide on a full-size stroller, or maybe just wants to use that and then go straight to like a lightweight once the baby is 6+ months.
Okay.
You can get something like that for like less than $100.
Oh, wow.
Then you have the whole travel system, which you see mostly in Los Angeles and around the country, because it's just a really seamless system, for lack of a better term, where you can click your car seat directly into the frame, but it also converts into a full-size stroller as your child grows. And the infant carrier car seat is really convenient because it allows you to move the baby around.
Right, without disturbing.
Exactly. But you don't need to start with that. Some people just go straight for the convertible car seat, which most nowadays can be used from 4 pounds up, depending on the manufacturer. But that you can just focus on getting that and not bypassing the infant carrier. You don't need to start there. And then the third one is kind of the lightweight stroller, the umbrella stroller. You hear that term a lot. And that is, again, 6+ months. It doesn't have as many features as the travel system where you can turn the seat. So it's parent facing, forward facing. It has a lot of different like modular options and moving the seats around. The lightweight is, basically sometimes they recline, sometimes they don't, but it's typically forward facing.
Okay.
But what's great about it is, a lot of them you just can do a one-handed fold, throw it over your shoulder, throw it in the trunk and be on your way, or travel.
So if you travel a ton,
exactly.
if you're really on the go, this one's ideal.
Yeah,
okay.
And then there's the jogging stroller, which for fitness enthusiasts, or all terrain. So if you're a hiker, go to the beach, you're on the sand, that kind of stuff, or depending on the city that you live in. I mean, I know in Los Angeles our sidewalks are terrible.
Right. Yep.
So you need something to kind of navigate that. And then there's the double stroller. So if you're expecting twins, or you're anticipating another child, or this is your second child, deciding maybe that's the best option, but then you also have to decide between side by side or the tandem, the stacked. And there's pros and cons to both of those styles. Again, going back to your lifestyle and how you plan to navigate the city with your stroller.
Right.
So, other things to consider are you going to be the only one using the stroller? Is your mother or your father, or are you going to have another caregiver?
Right.
How long you plan on using the stroller, the travel question. There's a lot of factors to consider.
Wow.
So I help parents kind of think through that. Yeah.
And then what about car seats? So that's a lot, a lot come with the whole system, but some don't. And so I guess one of the questions I had when trying to figure out car seats is you just takes a minute to hit you that oh my gosh, this precious thing that I'm about to give birth to is going to go in this car seat.
Yes.
So what are the top safety things that you look for?
Yeah. So, I'm not a car seat tech. I know a lot about car seats, but I always defer to a car seat technician
to good to know. I didn't even know
that install
existed.
it professionally. And a quick Google search of car seat tech followed by your city, it should pull up kind of a database. Or if someone, there's a lot of freelancers who do that.
Right.
But you can also get a free inspection done at your California Highway Patrol in whatever city you're in. We actually scheduled for the Highway Patrol to inspect, which you have to do pretty far in advance because they only do them once a week or something like that. But I thought I had installed it perfectly, and lo and behold, when I went, I had done something wrong. So it was that great reassurance, and I was able to videotape him and whatever.
Oh, cool.
So there's
it's almost just take the time.
Yeah.
That way you're reassured.
Yeah.
You know everything's safe.
And literally, one of my best friends just had a C-section a couple days ago, and I went and had lunch with her the day before. Mm-hmm. And I looked in her back seat, and she had installed it incorrectly. So I helped her with that. Yeah. The other thing is you always want to try and install it in the back middle seat.
Middle?
Yes, because of side impact. It's the safest place to put
a
car seat in a car. Yes.
I did not know that. I feel like you never see that either.
You actually, now that I brought it up,
I'll probably pay attention.
Yeah. The other thing is a lot of people install it with the latch system, which is this lower anchor tether something system. And cars are only required to install that or have those. Have you seen those latch things? Okay.
Yeah.
If you've dug for change in your car, you've seen those metal hooks or circle rings. They only are required to put them in 2 of the 3 seats in the back. So a lot of the times they're not going to be in the middle. So you'll find people who connect to the latch on each side of the seats, and that's incorrect installation. So if you are going to put it in the middle seat, for example, a lot of the times you have to install with a seatbelt.
Right.
So you need to find a car seat that can be installed with a seatbelt. The other kind of tip that I have is if you travel a lot, you want to make sure that you can install your car seats without the base. So there's some brands that don't let you do that. So if you do travel, you have to take the car seat and the giant base. Whereas ones that do let you do a seatbelt installation without the base, it's much easier to travel, and they have some kind of threading system to be able
really good to know.
Secure it. Yeah.
That's a great consideration for those of you that are going to travel. And now I'm rethinking.
Yes. And people are always asking what the best car seat is, and there really isn't an answer. It depends on your car.
Right.
And it depends on what's easiest for you to install. A lot of people just read the car seat manual, but you also need to read your car manual. because that is going to have a
yeah.
lot of information about the type of car you have and how you're going to install it. So before you buy anything, read
your car.
the
That's
manual.
An awesome tip. Thank you.
Yes, and keep the car seat manual in your glove box,
right.
because if you ever need to like take it out and put it back in, or change something about it, you have it right there, right. And you're not just like guessing.
I know a part of your business is going non-toxic and helping moms set up a green home.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your kind of philosophy or mindset with that?
Yeah. So I really got into that in my pregnancy. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and really before that, I thought I was living
right.
green. And I started kind of digging into that a little bit and realized there were a lot of things in our home that were considered toxic, and essentially learning about indoor air quality and how it's affected. I mean, I was shocked to learn that indoor air quality can be like 4 times more polluted than outside air.
That's why I tell a lot of my clients to start with cleaning products.
Yes.
Because think of everything that's being sprayed constantly,
yes.
and it's staying in the home.
Yes. And, people are running their air conditioners, right. or, and really aren't opening their windows a lot. So, something as basic as like opening your windows every day, like getting more plants, getting an air purifier. Smaller, simple things that are easy to do, right. and like not cost prohibitive.
And have a long term.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll last a while.
But then I realized, how do I reduce and minimize the chemical and pesticide exposure that we're bringing in through just normal everyday materials. So not thinking about the glue that was used to construct our couch, the foam, the materials, the resin,
the flame
retardant, all of that stuff. And it was like shocking to learn how many baby products had this stuff. Like, it just blew my mind.
Because that's even something I'm learning about now, is more of the, because I'm very product focused, right. and more of the large furniture pieces is like a whole other situation that I didn't even think about.
Yeah. So I start with the nursery, but it's really the home.
Right.
Because, for example, the mattress that you sleep on as parents, if you end up nursing the baby in the bed, like the
right.
type of mattress that you have also exposes. So, it can be overwhelming. Another area. So it's like starting small, like let's start with like the household cleaners, and then maybe move to your personal care products. And then little by little, you're kind of like tackling these different areas.
So for someone that's, kind of like wanting to look, I'm bringing this new baby into my home. I'm not really sure where the rest of my house stands, but I want to kind of be in control of what I'm bringing into the home for baby. What would you say are the top things in the nursery that should be green and non-toxic?
So definitely the crib and the mattress, which I feel like a lot of people kind of know.
Right.
But the crib, basically anything that your baby's going to be exposed to for long periods of time. Like, your baby's going to be sleeping a lot,
right.
and their face is going to be up against the mattress.
Right.
So those are 2 things. And there's a lot more brands on the market that are cleaner and safer. Solid wood, you want to look for solid wood. You want to stay away from like things like MDF or engineered wood, because literally that's just like wood pulp glued together. You see the term Green Guard Gold certified. Like, what does that really mean? Well, there still can be engineered wood or MDF, but it's at a much lower level. But there's still some exposure there. So it's really, what your budget allows. Are you comfortable with that? Simple things too while you're preparing the nursery is like airing it out, opening drawers. Like, if you smell a smell, put it out on the balcony for a week in the sunshine. Like, maybe that will help kind of let it off gas.
Right.
Things parents don't think about, like your window curtains or shades or whatever you're going to use. Blackout shades sometimes can come with chemicals. Wallpaper, decals, the adhesive, the glues in that.
Right.
The rug pad is a big one that people don't think about with plastics. Your changing pad, clothing, obviously. But those are your glider, another big furniture piece, foam, woods, glues.
All of it.
All of that dies.
Yeah.
So, I kind of, when I work with parents, we kind of build this virtual nursery, and we talk about all of these areas. And then we kind of take a moment to review and decide what are the priorities for that parent and what is their budget allow them to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, to have that as a resource to just kind of clear the mind and go, okay, this is the help, just to be able to lay out priorities with someone that knows, I feel like is such an amazing pro.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to fear monger.
No.
But, this is a time where I think most people are really open to learning about this.
Exactly.
And it sets them up to kind of know moving forward and how to read labels and looking for certain ingredients.
Well, it's all about equipping yourself with education, right? So that you feel good about the choices you can make. And then also, no home is perfect. So it's all about learning and doing what you can and feeling really, really proud of those decisions you did make, because it all adds up over time. It's like, what do you want near the changing table? I feel like that's a big area that I feel like it's probably something you figure out as the baby comes and you are like, okay, this is now my system and I can change it around.
Right.
But is there anything from the get-go that you would give to new moms as tips for the changing area?
So the changing area, a lot of people focus on this, and it's in the nursery typically, and it's this beautiful space.
Yeah.
What's nice is you can double. I'm all about finding a twofer or even a threefer, where you can use something multiple ways and can extend the life of that product.
I like that.
So a lot of people will convert a dresser top into their changing table.
That's what I did.
They're done, you have that as their dresser. So that's convenient. Also, if you're short on space, a lot of people will just get kind of a cart on wheels to kind of house your diapers, your diaper cloths, which I usually just get packs of cloth diapers and use them as burp cloths and diaper cloths and things like that. Literally, we just have them stashed everywhere. It's funny because whenever I felt like I needed one, they were never around.
You're like, I planned this.
So, having something on wheels. But the big thing is a lot of the changing is not going to take place in the nursery.
Right.
So it's going to take place in the areas of your home that you frequent most. So your living room or your bedroom. So I literally have parents also create little mini changing stations around the home.
That's a great idea. So a little caddy or basket.
Yeah, a caddy, I said, or as simple as a shoebox. You really don't need to invest or make it look pretty if it's something that just slides under the couch. But you have an extra stash of diapers, some creams, your diaper cloths, wipes. Right. And also if you have a multi-story home, you're not going to want to run down stairs every time. Or even a little towel or a changing pad, or even your portable changing pad, just having something, or even your swaddle. I mean, when it comes to your child, the pee and the poo is not as gross. When it's someone else's child, you're gross, but when it's yours, you're whatever.
Yeah. And what's one piece of advice you would give to new moms as they're embarking on this journey of feeling like you need to be so prepared and having the perfect registry and there's so much to know about gear? Is there just one piece of advice you would give to new moms?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, a woman's intuition is
my doctor just mentioned that to me yesterday. Yeah, I went in and I was like, okay, birth plan. I was asking all these questions and she was like, what's really amazing is I see all the time women's intuition kick in. Mm-hmm. So I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to have everything, and sometimes you don't need everything. Sometimes you can start with just what you definitely need and then purchase as you go and see what works. I mean, a lot of people are kind of over everything and baby products taking over your entire space, and more of a minimalist approach. So what does that look like, and how are you kind of rotating things in and out as you need them? But at the end of the day, I think just going with your style, going with your gut, and feeling good about what you're introducing into the home. I mean, like I said, there's just so much information out there. It can get overwhelming, and sometimes you just need to take a step back and know that your baby's gonna be fine.
Right.
You have everything that you need. for hundreds and thousands of years, like people have
True.
survived without like
Yeah.
a swing and a motorized this and an electronic that.
Well, and knowing, I mean, there's someone like you out there
Yes.
that people can come to and just kind of take a deep breath and totally trust you with all of the questions and all of the resources.
Yeah, I mean, I
which is
really
amazing.
act as like, I mean, that's hence the name Bestie.
Right.
But it's that extra reassurance and extra set of eyes to just give you that peace of mind
Right.
that the decisions you're making are right for you. I don't come in and say, this is what you need, here's the
Right.
list. I'm really on a mission to empower parents to make informed
I love that.
decisions on their own because it is empowering and you want to feel confident, and this is like a whole new incredible journey but for many, you know, first-time parents. And so, you know, to be prepared and not have that stress and be able to enjoy the end of your pregnancy or your relationship and life as you know it before this little creature comes into your life is, you know, really nice to have. And so
Awesome.
I'm happy that I get to do what I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's so smart.
Yeah.
Such a good idea. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'm so glad to have a new bestie in
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
And she's been generous and she's going to give everybody a 10% code. And the code is Detox Me Tuesday. So when you go to her website and check out on all of her services, just use that referral. Just tell her that and you'll get a discount.
Yeah, consultations are always free, so feel free to look me up on Instagram, Bump Bestie, or go through my site, bumpbestie.com, and you can just book directly on my site.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.